here. And today I just want to do a quick video just giving you a word of encouragement as I've been sitting myself and just kind of thinking about life and where I am in this season, thinking about the good and the not so good, the feelings of not feeling like you are fully living in your purpose, like I feel like once you've had everything that you've asked God to give you as far as your heart's desires that don't include your purpose, you always, I feel like, will feel complete without fulfilling that purpose. I don't care if you have $1 million. I don't care if you have the home of your dreams, the car of your dreams. I feel like God personally has blessed me with those things, like the things that my heart desired. Like I'm talking about the things that I never thought could be possible, but he made it possible. And I feel like he did that, for one, because of all the things that I've been through. I truly know that I went through a Job season. It's not a question about it. I definitely went through that season, and it was really tough, and I almost didn't make it. But God, gave me the grace and gave me the strength to keep on going, and now I am reaping my harvest for the work that I have put in and the tears that I've cried, and he counted every single one of them and blessed me for going through all that hardship that I went through. But now that I'm here and I'm so happy, full of gratitude for where God has brought me from, now I just feel like, okay, God, there's something missing. And surprisingly, it's not the relationship aspect. You know how most people, when they reach their goals, sometimes they feel like a relationship will complete them. And I just don't feel that way in this season. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel like that in a couple of years or something like that. Right now, I personally feel like I don't even have the capacity or the time to really be intentional about building a relationship, because it's hard work and you have to really get to know that person. And if I'm honest, I think a piece of that also has to do with me being by myself for a long time. And for those who have been single for an extended period, you know that it takes a lot for you to get out of that comfort zone. And if we're honest, that's only if we're honest. Some people will be like, oh, I'm just relaxing, or oh, it's not the time. When really, in reality, you just don't want to be bothered with nobody for real, because of the peace that comes with your solitude and being alone. And of course, you'll have your moments where you wish, or you see a family or something like that, and you be like, oh, one day, you know what I mean? But then when you start thinking about all that comes with that, or if you have married friends around you, and not to say that their relationships are bad or anything like that, but it's just like, it's a lot. You the energy it takes to build a family, and not let alone just a relationship. But then when you bring kids into it too, it just seems like a lot. So for me, that's not where my mind is at right now in regard to the missing piece. For me, it's the purpose part. For me, it's like, okay, God, I feel like God is slowly but surely bringing in the people and getting me out of my shell so I can network, because I'm very introverted. So it's really tough for me to go and network, but I realize that when it's regarding my purpose, like when I'm talking about my purpose, I light up and I can talk all day. I can be a social butterfly. But if it's just socializing, like going out to a lounge or going out somewhere, then I'm the girl in the corner not talking to nobody. And it's not because I'm stuck up. It's just I don't really know how to socialize like that. Like I'm kind of socially awkward in a way, unless it's purpose-based. If it's not purpose-based in a small talk, I do struggle in that area. So that's the thing. So I just want to encourage you guys just to be patient and to trust God's timing. God knows who you are. God is pruning you, and he's using the situations that may be frustrating or may be annoying to deal with to make you a better person. And I feel like I've learned that in my job, what I do. Like there are so many things and people sometimes that can annoy you, and that annoy me, if I'm honest. Like it's annoying, the situation's annoying, like the sin is annoying. I don't want to say the person, but people sometimes can be used by the devil if they allow themselves to be used. And I've been one of those people before. I'm not perfect. Maybe I had a bad day and I didn't let my light shine as bright as I normally do. Everybody has their days, and sometimes you operate in a spirit that's not the happiest. I just want to encourage you to change your perspective when going through those situations, because I personally feel like it's helping you in relationships. And a lot of people, when they think of relationships, they only think of romantic. But if you are somebody who didn't like really get raised by parents, you kind of raised yourself, or maybe you had people in your life that would, come in and kind of raise you, like they would just come in and out, but you didn't really have a stable foundation. I feel like life and God, of course, through people will teach you the essential things that you need to learn to build healthy relationships. And I've learned that a lot of those things that help you build those healthy relationships is conflict. And I'm a person that hates conflict. If I don't want to argue, I'll run away before it's time to argue. But as I was thinking about it and facing it, I'm like, this must be what marriage is like. Ooh, like this has got to be, because I've seen it, people arguing, and then when you're married, you can't just leave. Like you can't just leave the house for a week or never talk to the person again and cut them off. Like y'all tied, y'all are one. So I remember I was at work and I had a disagreement with someone, and I was like, I'm proud of myself, because normally I would just be like, you know what, forget them. Like, it's whatever. Like, I'm gonna ignore this or whatever. I'm just gonna leave them alone. I'm not even gonna bother them, look their way or nothing like that. But I had a change of heart, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna just run away. Let's face this. Let them cool off. Let me cool off, and let me think about how can I reapproach this situation to let this person know that I respect and understand where they're coming from, and try to understand how we can move forward and work together in this situation, so that if it happens again, we have an understanding and a respect. And if that person decides not to respect me, or, doesn't move forward in a positive way, at least I did my part. And when I said at least I did my part, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, that's it. That's the key. Making sure that you make peace with everyone. Making sure that you do your part to not be the problem. You know what I mean? At least try to be a part of the solution. Even if they want to continue to create problems, even if they want to continue to be used by Satan, to be messy or to be whatever, whatever is the negative thing, whatever it is. But at least you've done your part. And not to say that you'll be perfect, because there might be a day where they get on the last nerve that you got left, that last one, and then you just say, forget it, I don't want to talk, I don't want to be bothered, leave it be, and you just need to go home and ask God to renew your mind and give you strength and give you a second wind and help you to be more like him. That's personally what I do whenever I'm in those moments where I just can't, like, where I'm like, you know what, I'm over this and I'm ready to go, I'm ready to quit, or whatever it is. I have to regroup. I have to go home. I have to write out my thoughts so I can get it out of my head. And if you have a therapist, that's a way to get it out. If you have like a person maybe in your small group, if you go to church and you're part of a small group, find someone that you feel like you can trust to, vent to. And I think that getting it out helps. But I think also outside of venting and kind of like just gossiping, don't do it in a nasty way, like just talking about the person. Because let's not talk about the person. Let's talk about the issue at hand that's causing the conflict. Where is the root of it? You know what I mean? I think that's more effective than just talking about the person and just not liking them for whatever reason. Let's talk about the conflict and let's see what you can do. And sometimes, as hard as this is, and I had to learn this, love covers a multitude of sin. It really does. And sometimes it's hard to love people that are hard to love. Sometimes it is hard to love people that are hard to love. And when I say this, I don't mean be a doormat. You can still speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself. But sometimes when somebody's being rude to you, they're being negative to you, they're being nasty, or they're being condescending or passive aggressive, sometimes, even though it doesn't feel good in the moment, the best thing to do is to respond in love, is to react in love, is to not allow them to make you their emotional punching bag. Do not be a sponge to their words. Do not be moved by their actions. You need to be anchored in God's peace that surpasses all understanding. And you need to really have the emotional intelligence to say, okay, this person is upset. Why should I get upset because they're upset? Let me figure out what the issue is. What is the root of their issue? Is the root of their issue connected to something I did? What did I do? Let me figure out a way I can do this differently so that I don't trigger this person. And if it's something that triggered them because of them not holding themselves accountable and them, not wanting to do their work or whatever it is, then I'm going to focus on my work. I'm going to focus on giving my best while they pout about whatever they're pouting about, because at that point, if they're mad if they're upset about them not doing what they're supposed to do, and that's why they're mad at you for pointing it out or for standing up for yourself because they want you to do what's theirs to do, then that's not something that you can control. That's not something that you can do anything about, because at the end of the day, you deserve respect. You deserve to be held accountable just like they deserve to be held accountable. And if they don't want to, then that's on them. Then they just gonna have to be mad. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, just give your best, do your best, be helpful, do things without an attitude, do things genuinely from your heart, because this is what God calls you to do. This is what God calls us to do. Work as if you're working unto the Lord and not unto man. So even though these people do these things, at the same time, it's building you up. It's pruning you for when it's going to be a situation where you meet somebody, they're hard to love, but you cover them with love. You keep on loving on them and not being, like I said, walked all over, but you continue to operate in that light that God is in you. You continue to operate through the Holy Spirit and not be moved or easily triggered or easily offended. And just block that out and operate in love. You're witnessing to that person. And someone has told me this that was over me, that I had impacted them and taught them patience in a way and helped them to understand how to deal with certain people and to be more loving and nurturing and things like that. So the very conflict that you're going through and that you want to run away from, because I was a runner. If y'all watch my old videos and you've gotten to know me, you know that if it was conflict, I had the track shoes. I was gone because I ain't got time for it. I don't like it. It's irritating. It makes my blood boil. I hate conflict. But I've learned that if I'm going to be in any type of relationship, whether that be romantic, whether that be long-term friendships, whether that be relationships with people that I'm going to be building relationships with my nonprofit, you have to learn how to problem solve, and you have to learn how to work through conflict, or everybody will get cut off. Everybody will get cut off, because there's always going to be something that you don't agree with somebody that you meet. And sometimes you got to chew the meat and spit out the bones. Sometimes you got to love people from a distance. Sometimes you got to work with people from a distance, and you got to separate acquaintances from friendships, because there is a difference. And when you're a sensitive person and you have gone through abandonment issues, it's hard to do that. It's hard to really befriend somebody that does not do what you do, or when I say do what you do, I mean like that doesn't have the heart that you have. Like if this were to happen to me, if this were to happen to you, what I would do for you, and to know that you wouldn't do that for me is hurtful. It makes you feel a type of way. But you have to learn, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. And anything that you do for somebody, you need to be doing that from your heart. And yes, granted, it may not feel the greatest when you do things for others and nobody, even if it's not that person, but it feels like nobody does things for you as an act of kindness, then you need to learn that your validation and your applause, it doesn't come from them, it comes from God. And perhaps that's what God's trying to teach you and me. Perhaps that's what he's trying to teach us, because it's hurtful. It's hurtful when you give, and you give with joy and glee, and you're so excited to give. But then when it's your turn to receive, it feels like, dang, did anybody think about me? You know what I mean? So I'm going on a rant. I don't even know what this video is about anymore. But anywho, that's it, y'all. Let me get off here. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was encouraging. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.